we're not all going to be hiring, nines and tens all the time, but there are a lot of great, sevens.
You see, Christie, I think you can. I think you can. I think you can hire nines and tens. I think you can.
Okay. So
but it comes with parameters.
Welcome, everyone, to today's Veterinary Insider Podcast. We have a special guest. His name is Rhys Giannarelli, and he is the founder of Innovative Veterinary Management Solutions and also the co-founder of Founders.vet. We want to welcome him today. We're going to be discussing a lot of things around leadership, which is really important for us independent veterinarians. A lot for us to learn, and especially some of the things that we can be looking forward in the future as well. Don't forget to join us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple for our podcasts. And you can find us through the IVPA at iveterinarians.org. So thank you so much for joining us, Reese.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on. I wouldn't say I'm special. I mean, that's something that my mum would say. You're special. But yeah, I would say I'm special.
Yeah, it's always good to believe that for yourself. So, and just shout out, thank you so much, everybody, for being here and joining us today. Thank you for everything you've done in the independent space. I encourage you guys to keep going. I think we have a special opportunity for us to remain strong and resilient. And again, thank you so much for your support and moving through this. And so let's go ahead and let's start with a brief background on Reese. And I will let Reese go ahead and share everything that he would like to share. So go ahead.
Sure. My name is obviously Rhys Giannarelli. Currently reside in Canada, Vancouver. My wife and I have 2 practices here. We still have it. As you pointed out, that I also have a consulting side hustle, as we say, that is IVMS, Innovative Veterinary Management Solutions. My background is I come from Australia. I had to dumb down my accent heavily because no one could understand me. Probably still can't understand me, but it's much better than what it was before, let me tell you. I spent 24 years in hospitality, and I got into vet med because my wife went to school in Australia, and I met her at a coffee shop, a cafe. And yes, the rumors is true. We do have better coffee in Australia than we do here and in America. But I met her at a coffee shop. It's a hallmark story, I would like to say. She took a shining to me, as she hates to admit, but she did. And I basically gave me an ultimatum to move to Canada if we wanted to stay together, because she wasn't going to stay, which I did. And we sort of said, okay, what do we want to do with our life? We put vet med and hospitality together, and we did it 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago now.
Excellent. So how much, I guess it sounds like it didn't take much convincing for you to have to go from the warm of Australia to the cold of Canada. So how are you acclimating to the climate change?
Well, where I come from, Melbourne, it's very similar in terms of weather for Vancouver. It rains 8 months of the year. It's sunny for 2 months of the year. And whatever's left over is whatever's left over. It just depends on the mood of nature. It can rain and hail and be 30 degrees at exactly the same time in Melbourne, so we don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the practices that you own.
Both of them are small animal GP, obviously independent. We're in smack bang in the heart of Vancouver. They are 1.5 doctor practice each. Is it? No, 2 doctor practice each. And it's very different market to the American market. I'm not sure the best way to describe it, but we do not have the population that the Americans do. So in a radius of, say, 10 kilometers, I don't know what that is in miles, but say 10 kilometers, We have anywhere from 7 to 10 clinics in that space, and we have about 15 to 25,000 pet parents to divide amongst those people or those clinics. And that's just registered. We don't know what's unregistered, and we don't even know what, theoretically, the population of those pet parents visit a vet clinic. So again, we are looking anywhere from 800 to 2,000 people per clinic. So we are fighting over every single client that we can find. Whereas the American market, you just open your doors and you flood.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to imagine that amount of competition and, 7 or 8 clinics and, not that big of a population would definitely be more challenging to kind of figure out what your competitive advantage is and use that in your value proposition. And so I think that you're probably learning a lot of good things when it comes to how to compete in your market area. And so, if we're taking a look, you've had a unique journey in business leadership, and talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to found Innovative Veterinary Management Solutions.
Interesting story. So IVMS was founded back in 2020 under a very different model. During COVID, everyone was going a little bit crazy with trying to find out how they're going to, see pets, different environment. I mean, from 2020 to early 2023, we really need to wipe that from our memory because we're not going to see that again. But at the end of the day, doctors or DVMs were trying to figure out, I don't want to be in this setting. I want to do my own thing. And then because it's boom, everyone thought it was going to be a lucrative market, which it was for a period of time. So everyone was thinking about opening their own. And I sort of said, why can't we do that? Why can't I help DVMs open their own dream? And a lot of people that I spoke to didn't want to do the management side. They just want to practice medicine. So I sort of thought, I want to do that. Let me do that. I'll help facilitate someone's dream. I'll put my own money in. I'll go equity shares. Look, what does that look like? But the more people I spoke to, the less heart I had, because it's a marriage. Partnership is a marriage. And if I'm going to invest substantial amount of money into a brick and mortar practice, I need to know that I'm going to have a good partnership with this person. But not everyone wanted to have that relationship, to spend time with me, and I wanted to spend time with them. I wanted to make sure that we can get through the hard times and whatnot. Hey, listen, my wife is my partner in both life and business. I don't recommend that for most people. The marriage is hard enough as it is, let alone be business partners. But I like to think that we have a great support system. We know each other really well. We do want to kill each other. Well, actually, let me rephrase. She wants to kill me more times than I want to kill her. But that's just marriage, and that's just life. I would say that you need to have a very open line of communication. Trust has to be there. But I'm straying a little bit. In the end, I was like, you know what? This is not what I want to do. My passion is not here. And I sort of fizzled that part out, but I didn't know what else I was going to do with it until I got a phone call with one of her friends in the industry. She said, hey, listen, I know that you implemented something at your own practices. Can you do it with me? And I thought, sort of looked at that and said, how do I put this into a curriculum? How do I put it together? How do I teach this? I've never taught a system like this to anybody else. What does it look like? Now, that was 4 years ago. Fast forward to today, this system or the modules or the curriculum has morphed 10 times over. It's nothing what it was back when I did a beta for her. She's still a client today. I love her too dearly. So anything that I got going on, I call her first and go, hey, I got a new thing coming out. Can I pilot it on you first? She goes, yeah, absolutely. So she gave me my start, and I'll be forever grateful for that. So that's where we are today. This system, I call it a system. It's a operating system. Basically, I move the practice owner from the practice operator category into the business owner category. I don't want any practice owner to have a job. I want them to have a business, and that business needs to sustain itself by itself without them being at the helm. They can still have input. They can still guide it and give it some direction, but the day-to-day operations should not be reliant on them. They need to have a practice that is literally a turnkey. That turnkey is you walk in and you walk out, and it operates the exact same way as if you were to walk out, not because you're there. That's my main goal, my main purpose. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into it to make sure it gets into that system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I want to ask a follow-up question. When you suggest that, the DVM needs to focus more on being a business owner than an operator, do you find that you run into some pushback with some owners about that, or how do you?
Yeah, it's
That?
it's the old age argument of but I'm the main producer. I produce 1.5, 1.1 by myself. That's all fantastic. And you know what? That's your baby, and you should. But you can't expect your associate to do the exact same way. So we call this normalization. So if you're going to walk out tomorrow and go on holiday and you're going to say, I'm going to take a year off, you need to employ a full-time vet. That vet cannot be expected excuse me, cannot be expected to do the exact same numbers as you. It's not their business. They are not going to do that. So you need to average that out and be realistic and go, okay, what is a normal production for a veterinarian? Same goes for wages. What is a normal production? Sorry, what is a normal wage for a veterinarian? If you want to pay yourself $300,000, fantastic. But if I'm going to buy your practice, I'm going to normalize that and say, well, it's actually 150. Or if you pay yourself 80, I'm going to normalize that and say that's 150, whatever that may look like. Sure, accounting can be creative as we like, but when you go to sell it, we're not silly. We know what's going on. So we know what we're going to normalize that venture very, very quickly. So yes, we do we do get some pushback in, but no one can do it like I can. That's because you're a bottleneck. If you gave the parameters to your team, if you gave them, this is what I want, or this is how I'd like it to be done, please invite collaboration with your team, because just because you know how to do it one way doesn't mean there's not another way. And sometimes it can be a better way. The moment you start to invite collaboration, people will start to say, okay, how can we make this better today than it was yesterday? The more you ask this question, the more you seek to understand, the better you'll become, and your mindset of no one will do it as much or as quickly or as well as. I think that should be more about no one can do this as like I can, but can they do it better? That is the mindset I think we need to start changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of sort of have to learn how to get out of our own way first in
Yeah,
order to
move
kind of
out the
move
way,
forward.
let
Yeah,
go of the
yeah.
line, let it go.
Get over ourselves, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's a really interesting take, and I think it definitely makes sense. And I feel that a lot of us we should really be acting more like business leaders, and leaving some of those things like the operations and the finance and even most of the marketing nowadays really doesn't make sense for the business owner and a CEO or executive to really take on all of that and expect things to go well. And so, so that's great. And to take that a little bit further, I had recognized some of the things that you were working on prior to you and I meeting for the first time, and I was in total agreement with the way that you approached. And I think a lot of us have difficulties with communication and having difficult conversations. And so I think if someone is there in order for either to bolster us in our confidence in having those, or somebody that's willing to have those conversations because it makes more sense for that person to do that, I think it's one of the most important things and one of the more critical things that we kind of have to delegate sometimes. And so, and you know, I remember when I was in the process of looking for, and you talked about partnerships, and it's like a marriage, and working through those things. And so, um, you know, when I was looking for a co-founder for this new project I was working on, I had been looking for a long time, and I really needed somebody that could help me with some of my weaknesses and what would make sense in, moving forward as a unit, because I feel that a lot of us are better off if we do have co-founders, or we bring on co-founders, because there's a lot to be done. And I feel that if you find the right partner or partners, these things can be done in a much more efficient manner, with a lot more thought behind it and a lot more ideas that you can actually siphon from and come up with the best thing going forward. And so, one of the things that attracted me to your philosophy had to do with how you put together some of your leadership material and the way that you conveyed that. It's really kind of real life stuff, real practical. And uh, it came across as very implementable, and you can execute on it, which a lot of us, that's a stage where we kind of get stuck in. And looking at some of your materials, it was almost like, oh my God, that's how I would, state that. And that's how I would talk. And so that's what brought me to you in the first place, and found that you were the social, gregarious person that I was not, but I really wanted to be. And a lot of it had to do with, we kind of do our own little research. And I was looking across the internet, and all of these pictures that I found that you were in, it was like you were the life of the party. You were having a great time. You were the one that was, everybody was like, hey. And so I really felt that that was important, because one of the most important things is developing trust, and honesty, and, those sorts of things. And so I feel the work of collaboration is best done under, trusting, open conditions. And so following up with that, what is your philosophy on some of the modern veterinary leadership techniques what do those look like nowadays?
I may offend people, and I'm sorry if I do. There's two types of leaderships. Often you'll see this one in the corporate world, and you will see it in the private practice sector as well. There's two types of leaderships. There is a manager, top-down management kind of style, and then there's something that I like to call a coach. There's two types. A manager manages people, who manages behavior. This is something that you will see in all corporate America. The top person at the top filters down the information. Everyone does this, does that, and this is the way it's done. This is the only way it's done. And this is how we're going to get it done. And we might not even find out why it's getting done, but this is what is going to get done. And this goes down to the very people at the very bottom, and you do this or else. This is it. This is it. Managers people, behaviors. They manage, they sign, they task, they delegate, they measure, they report. But what is missing is the fundamental thing of people. We do not inspire the people. We do not look after the people that are doing this task, job, however it look like. Whereas a coach, they're not just focused on the outcome. They are focused on the development of that person. I'll look at things like this, and I'm going to use a sporting analogy, and I'm going to use football. In your country, it's soccer. But I use football, and I say, hey, I want this ball to go in that goal. How I want it to get there is up to three things: your creativity, your decision making, and what your vision looks like. When I say vision, I mean, what do you see? what you see is going to create or give you a decision. That decision may or may not be creative. It can be a pass, or it could be, I'm going to take this defender one-on-one and dribble around them. That is creativity. What happens when the ball leaves your foot is then another decision. This is creating creativity. Now, if I said to somebody, hey, I want to develop a new protocol on how to import a new client in our system, this is how I think it's done, but here's a reality check. I'm not the person doing this day to day. They are. Why can't I just say, hey, what is the best way that we can do this? How do we make this more efficient? This is a program that I saw. Can we use it? What are the downfalls that we are seeing? Can you give me another way of doing this? Is there a better way? If we can't consistently ask our team for open and honest feedback and receive it and do something with it, then we are no different from a manager who managing behavior. We need to do something with this behavior and with this feedback. Having an open and honest conversation is going to invite collaboration, but most importantly, it's going to give you trust. You need to be able to build trust to have honest feedback without fear or repercussions. The moment someone feels fear, or they're going to be having there's no safety net, or they feel like they're going to lose their job, you don't have a safe environment to work in. And they're not going to tell you how it is. They're going to tell you everything that you wanted to hear. Whereas for me, it took me some time to get that trust in my team to tell them, hey, this is what I want to do. What do you reckon? When I first started, I'll make no mistake, I'll be the first person to tell you. I'm going to use my PG language here. I mucked up a lot. And I did that unknowingly because my team didn't trust me enough to say, hey, this is not working. This is why it's not working. It wasn't until someone who I built some trust over said, hey, the team aren't very happy about all these changes. And because we do one change and it doesn't work, and do another change and that doesn't work. It doesn't work because you haven't asked us how we feel or what we think is going to make it better. That changed the way I saw leadership. That changed. I thought it was me that had to lead the team. I thought I had to be the captain. I thought I had to steer that boat and I had to row the oars and make sure that the wind was sailing the right seas. I thought it was me. It's not. And if you're listening to this, it's not you. In fact, you make up 10% of that boat sailing. You are just the person saying, that's the direction we have to sail in. Everyone get to work. How they do it, you just have to set parameters. You give them, this is where we want to go. How do we get there? Set little goals to get there so that everyone rows in the same boat, same direction, singing the same songs, drumming the same beat, and whatever other cliche you want to think of, drinking the same Kool-Aid. That is just, how we need to inspire our team. So it's not just about the outcomes. It's what we do that develops the person to get the outcome. The outcome will still be the same, hopefully. And if it's not, ask them the question. Can we do this differently next time? What did you learn? If we are not giving them the tools or setting themselves up for success, then what are you doing? You can't expect people to do something, to do anything to your level of expectations or even know what success looks like. So if you can't give them the tools to do so, it's impossible. It's unrealistic expectations. I feel like I'm going on a tangent here, but I'm so passionate about this, it just, drives me up the wrong way. But if we can't give these tools to our team, then you're gonna have retention problems. You're gonna lose them 6 months to a year, maybe 2. I've always looked at every member is that if I can develop someone to either stay with me long term, great, but I want them to outgrow me. I want to give them the tools to outgrow me in my little practice. I want them to do bigger and better things. My job has always been to develop the person, because if I develop the person, they'll develop professionally, and eventually I'm a stepping stone to their greater purpose, whatever that may look like. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. So when it comes to, we're not all going to be hiring, 9s and 10s all the time, but there are a lot of great, 7s.
You see, Christie, I think you can. I think you can. I think you can hire 9s and 10s. I think you can.
Okay. So
it comes with parameters. Right? If you can hire to your core values, not a warm body, you can do some amazing things. Amazing things. And people say, I can't find anyone. I think you can. You just need to appeal to the people that you want to hire. They'll come to you. They'll find their home, but you've got to give them something to go, that's me. That's someone who I want to work for with. But you have to put parameters in place. So I don't want to say that you're wrong. Don't get me wrong, I've hired some duds too in my life. But, the last 4 years, I would say that I've had some amazing retention, and I've only had people leave who are leaving the country. I have 2 months notice in my contract always. I can tell you at this moment as I speak to you, I have 3 people who have given me 12-month notices because they're leaving the country. I have another 2. On average, I have about anywhere 2 to 6 months notice periods voluntarily because they feel safe. They want to train the next person. They want the next person to succeed. And I feel like I'm blessed enough to have these people say, hey, I want the best person for my team that happens to be working in this clinic. That's the environment that we've cultivated because of the core values that we have, the mission statements and all the buzzwords that we can possibly think of, but all of them are all there. But I think you can if you just hire correctly.
yeah, good point. And also, when it comes to people that do have to change jobs for some reason other than the culture, it's always much better to be in a position to have things thought out ahead of time and a succession plan ahead of time with each of these employees in these roles so that you're not getting the 2-week notice and you're scrambling to try to, replace them, right? So super important, and maybe some of the things that we don't think about, as leaders, and some of the repercussions of how we do things. So that's great. And a lot of us, because we are ultimately responsible for many things, we wear many hats as a business owner. It can quickly lead to situations of burnout and stress and things like that. Um, how can owners do things differently to reduce the incidence of burnout in that role?
That's with a D. And I'm going to be quiet for a moment and let everyone settle that in. But it's delegation, right? If you can effectively delegate 90% of your role, that's fantastic. That's what you're aiming to do. That 10% that you are doing in your role, that is 100% of everything that you'd love and great at doing. The rest of the stuff can be delegated if you set parameters. You don't let go. You are delegating. You're still overseeing the task. You're developing that person. You're training that person. You're giving them guidance. You're giving them mentorship. You're saying yes, no, how, maybe, think differently. But you're giving that person opportunity to grow, to develop, to expand. And if you're not doing that, you're just limiting people's growth. Even though that's not their job, you're asking them, can you do this? Do you want to do this? Do they have the capacity to do this? If the answer is yes, give it to them. Let go of the vines so that way you can focus on what truly matters. I have an exercise where we use a delegation method. I put everyone in 4 quadrants and I say, okay, tell me what you absolutely love and great at in one quadrant, what you like, but you're okay at another quadrant, another one that you don't like, but you're okay at, it's another one you just dislike. Write down everything that you do in these 4 quadrants. And everyone can do this who's listening. Write down everything in those 4 quadrants. Then I want you to write how much time you spent on each of those tasks in each of those 4 quadrants. Once you've done that, on the side of the piece of the paper, write down your hourly wage. Once you've done that, find out your hourly wage times the time that it takes you to do these tasks. You will find that the tasks that you absolutely hate doing cost you more than the things that you love doing. When you do that, delegate that out, because the time that you take to do that, someone else can do better than you and loves to do. I promise you, they can do that. Someone in your practice would love to do this. If you give them 1 hour, 2 hours off the floor to do it, it costs you $50, maybe $60 for them to do it. But as an owner, as a DVM, it's cost you $120 an hour. That's just to do. What does opportunity cost me? In that 1 to 2 hours, I expect you to see maybe 2, maybe 4 clients. Those 2 or 4 clients is going to give you maybe $220 per client. I mean, come on. That should 4x your time. Use your time effectively. Use your time wisely. You don't have a lot of it, but do it in the best way it makes sense for you, your company, and your people. So yes, you can absolutely delegate. I've delegated my life out. That allows me to do more things. So as an owner of 2 practices, I have a lot of things to do, but I don't do all of them. I oversee.
Yeah. Yeah. And also as a practice owner, if your future plans include an exit at any point, having successors and people that are doing what you know how to do makes leaving a lot easier and more feasible when it comes to continuing the practice as it was meant to be after the sale.
It goes back to the whole point, is if I have to be here for the show to run, that's not turnkey. So if I want to leave tomorrow, I know that the only thing that I need to hand off is the accounting side of things. That's it. I've taught my team how to hire. I've got someone who can fire. I have people who do marketing. I have people who do the operations. I don't have to do anything anymore because I've trained my team to do so. Now, if they all left, of course I'm going to be screwed. But that is all part of your business. You make sure you keep a pulse on everybody. Are they happy? What can I do to help? And if they are going to leave, you put a plan together. Okay, when can I start hiring? When can I start interviewing? When can I start training? When do you need to leave by? All these questions come about if you have trust.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And when we think about culture and its importance, and when we think about issues like staff turnover and retention issues, um, can you talk to us about maybe some of the misconceptions that some owners might have about incentives and bonuses, and maybe what the best way to use those types of benefits would be?
Ever had a practice that say, I give Christmas bonuses and I don't know what to give this year or next year? But here's the thing about Christmas bonuses. People become reliant on it and they become as an expectation. An incentive is more about a carrot to do something great. Now, I don't use the term carrot and a stick because it's more like if you get this, if you do that, but if you don't, I'm going to stick you. And I use it differently because I like to say, hey, this is our goal. Now, if we can achieve this goal, fantastic, awesome. But what are we going to do in between from now and then? What are the levers that we're going to pull that is going to achieve the greater goal? I use an incentive bonus around the levers. The levers aren't about revenue, but that's the outcome. It's a byproduct. If I said to my team, hey, I want to focus on compliance. What can we do better on? Can we do better on, maybe we can do better on dentals. Maybe we could do better on fecals or insurance sign-ups or whatever it may have you. If I let the team decide what they want to do better on, and then we go, okay, what did we do last year? This much. What should the goal be this year? What is my goal? Now, while I'm giving them a lot of leeway and a lot of uh, freedom, it should be made that this is their decision. Now, I'm not using manipulation style here, but what I am doing here is saying, I know what my goal is. How I get there, told you, I don't care how I get there. I get there, but they need buy-in. They need to know that this is theirs. So I give them the freedom to come up with what they feel they can do better on. Now, I have about 6 levers in my practices that they want to do better on. Fantastic. I put a pool of money aside. and say, okay, guys, this is an incentive bonus portion. If we hit all 6 levers each month, then we hit these goals, then the prize pool gets divided amongst everybody. But I probably hear you say, but what about the people who work more or work less and the people who've been here longer, et cetera, et cetera? My system has 3 layers: goals achieved, hours worked, and tenure with the company. Now I have parameters. So I have a formula, and the moment it's built now, I have to put in four numbers, and it spits out everyone's pay packet. It's beautiful. I think it's legendary. But it's a wonderful thing when you see it when you see it happen. It's beautiful. It's poetry. But it's very objective. It's not subjective, saying, oh, you did more, you did less. Everyone works as a team. These levers are something that is created that the whole team can contribute to, not just the one person. So we want to make sure that it's very clear that everyone can contribute. So I think there was Google reviews on there. There was co-hats done. There was blood work and insurance sign-ups. I'm missing a few. But these are all things that they chose, and they are, I think we've 1 month, we've probably missed out on 2. Every other month, they've hit these numbers. Do I care that I give them a bonus every 3 months? I don't. I don't care. What I care about is the end result. That end result, I've just increased 40% on 6 items, let's say. 40% on 6 items, that's fantastic. I don't mind if I not lose, but incentivize a few $1,000s. It's a win. It's a win. Now, our retention is, okay, we know that our industry has a cap in all our RBTs, VOAs, CSR. We know there's a cap. We know that there's only so much room for growth, especially in independent practices. But why can't I say thank you in another way? Why can't we do it in a retention bonus? Whether it be 1 year, 3 year, 5, 7, however you want to build it. Now, I've built mine, and ours is 5, 7, and 10, and I give a certain percentage of the salary at the end of that 5, 7, 10 years. Could be 3, could be 7, could be, I think the highest is 9%. But it all depends on how you want to work it, and you can customize it. Again, I have one, but it's my way of saying, hey, thanks for your little service. I'm sorry I can't give you the bigger raises that you want every year, but I'm doing this through a retention bonus.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it allows the incentive and the excitement that you're part of something in the future. And you have the opportunity to then gain some future rewards based on, certain things that you're doing for the company.
Yeah, but also it has loyalty attached to it. It has retention attached to it. It's something that I felt that I didn't have to hire all the time for. If I grounded people to the culture, they want to stay in that. They want to stay organically and naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. So we covered some things regarding delegating. Budgeting is one of those things that I know very few people really like to do and know how to do. And so I think we like to tend to delegate that away. But when you delegate, you also have to kind of oversee it at the same time. So, what are the main things that we as business owners should know about budgeting if we are going to then delegate that out?
The most important thing that you need to know about budgeting is what your numbers are in the practice. And it's something called a scorecard. A scorecard should tell you real life, in real life, in life terms, where your practice is. They should be based on a certain amount of numbers. And I'm not saying that you should know every pulse of every facet of the practice. Pick 7 things that if you were on a deserted island and your only way of knowing how your practice was is a message in a bottle, bring out police and showing my age here, bring out the police and message in a bottle song. But if you had a message in a bottle that came in every Monday and it said, this is how your practice is doing, you've got a certain amount of numbers. What is the numbers that you want to be seeing? Maybe it is numbers per day, your average transaction per day. Maybe it is a daily revenue, maybe it is production or patients seen. I don't know. Every practice is different. But that message in that bottle is going to be giving you the information in real time saying, this is where we are today, or this is where we are this week or last week. And you're going, this is now 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks that I haven't been fully booked. I have 20 unscheduled appointments. That's some cause for concern, potentially. I would look at that and go, well, do I need to reduce people? Do I need to reduce time, wages? Do I need to look at inventory? Is my inventory off? This should all be byproducts of everything else, right? It stems off one number. That one number is going to tell you a lot about how your practice is doing, what the industry looks like, because it's a trend. When we understand what trends are, we can set what a budget looks like. So when you want to set a budget, look at your past history. What did I pay in expenditure? What did I pay in wages? What did I pay in, other categories? Then look at what is my daily revenue. Average that out and find out what your budget is. It's quite simple. I mean, I have another poetic spreadsheet that I love to do, that I have, but it's very easy for someone like me. It can be difficult for other people. But ask someone, hey, if you're going to ask somebody, ask them, how can I make this as simple as it can be that I can understand it? And what are the metrics that I need to understand to be able to do it? And once you've got that budget set, you best stay in between it, because that's going to be your best line of success.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So many good pointers and good tips and practical things that we can use out of today's episode. Looking ahead, what are the core leadership traits that you believe will define the next generation of veterinary founders? And how are we designing things now to nurture those leaders?
We need to ask more questions, seek to understand, rather than know that this is the only way that we've ever done it and there's no other way. That mentality is naturally going to get phased out, because as people retire, the older generation is going and the new generation is coming in. We have a different mindset. The average learning rate is now every 12 hours, whereas 30 or 40 years ago, it was every month. Every month new information was to come out that we all learn. We are now at a point where it's every 12 hours we learn something different and new. That's technology. That's innovation. Everyone is open to change. We all say we're open to change, and at some point, but that's not the question, or not the issue. The issue really is how fast we are willing to change. That's where we are. So if we have the mindset of, hey, things are changing, they're changing rapidly fast. How much can we change in a certain period of time, and what can we do better? If we can use the mentality of how can we be better today than we were yesterday, that's always going to seek the collaboration of your team, going, what can we do better today? What can we do better? How can we do better? The more we ask this question, the more we can better ourselves as a leader. Because if your team isn't telling you what we can do better, we are failing as a leader, right? Even if I feel like I'm perfect, my team has full autonomy to say, hey, I'm not happy with this, or this can be better. Can we do something different? What does this look like? And our language needs to be a bit different as well, rather than using the words why or you, never, and always. These are different languages that we should never use. We need to be changing our wording and go, how can we? Tell me more about. How can I? Help me understand. These words is going to open collaboration. It's going to open a different way of mind, a different mindset. People feel safe, because the moment you use why and you, we are accusing people, and then they're going to get defensive. Right? If you need an explanation, tell me more about this. Walk me through how this happened. You're going to get a different answer.
Oh my gosh, such wonderful insights. Thank you so much for joining us. It was such a great, informative hour. And, we covered so many things, including, the importance of carrying out a vision and creating trust within your team members, the act of delegation and how important that is in creating more efficient systems. We talked about creating levers for incentives and bonuses. In addition, the act of budgeting and what we need to know as business owners into doing that, and how we actually correctly delegate those services and what is really important for us to know. And then, finally, what are the most important leadership traits for us that we need as business owners moving forward in today's society and the rate of change that we are experiencing over a short period of time? So thank you so much again, Reese, for your participation here. And I want to make sure that our readers know where to find Reese and all of his awesome spreadsheets and how they access all those things. So I will give him the microphone here to let us know how to best contact him.
Yeah, sure. Visit my website. It is ivmsolutions.org. Go there, have a check it out. There's free versions of everything I explained about. There is sample sizes. If you want to learn how much a member costs you, like an employee, it's there in Canadian and American dollars. If you want to know how much your budget is for hiring another DVM, it's there. If you need to learn about incentive bonuses, retention bonus, that's also there. I don't know how many things I've got on there, but you can have everything you want for free. Book a time with me. I'm happy to chat to you. Whatever that looks like for you and how to give you success, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. And if I can do a shameless little plug for Founders.vet, I would love to. A shameless little plug for Founders.vet. This is a new platform that I and the lovely Christie Cornelius is going to be launching. This is a platform specific to our industry. Think of Facebook had a baby with School. School is another platform that maybe that had a baby with Patreon, but Patreon and School have merged into a online school platform that sells content and also a community that you can be a part of. Now, that is a subscription-based platform, whereas Founders.vet has the foundation of Facebook and the inclusion of a online course module that you can sell, webinars that you can have and host, as well as I said courses, didn't I? I said courses. But even if you want to monetize a community, you can do that as well. In short, we want this to be the one-stop hub for all our Facebook community users and all our LinkedIn professionals to come on this platform to be able to market directly to our industry and have everybody in our industry to be in the one hub. There is an absolute free version like you would do it with Facebook. There's no change there. But as a professional, that if you are a consultant, you must be on this platform because now you've got direct marketing to everybody in our industry. So I encourage you to check it out. Christie, do you have anything?
No, Founders.vet. You'll see right now there's you'll be able to gain access through the network using that. And don't forget also, Reese has great things available at ivmsolutions.org. And don't forget to check us out at iveterinarians.org through the IVPA. Thanks again so much. I had a great time today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Christie.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great.